Are you, are you periscoping? No. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for the applause. I usually get applause when I leave a room rather than enter the room, so thank you for that. Mark, you pronounced my name right. Often people call me Michael. Will had mentioned that naming stuff is difficult. I guess my parents had the same problem as well, too. In 1985, I was born, and for some reason, my parents decided to name me after a woman, but spell it like Michael without the A. And you guys are probably all really confused because you thought my name was Michael. I tell you that story because I want to build a relationship with you guys after the event. And just don't call me Michael. So why am I here? Not here to talk to you about that. Why I'm here can be defined by asking you two questions, and I ask that you participate. My first question is, please stand up if your company created a marketing plan for 2015. Please stand up if your company created a marketing plan for 2015. You guys thought of ways to acquire new customers, grow your brand awareness. Excellent. Stay standing for a moment. About half the room is standing. I'm sure there's several others that would be standing as well too. Now, stay standing. This is the second question. Stay standing if your company created a customer experience plan. One person is standing. That's why I'm here. Together, we just identified the biggest gap in your business, but the greatest opportunity for you to grow your business, grow your brand awareness, increase your revenue, increase your profitability, and become an admired brand. And by the end of our time together, you're going to know exactly how to do that. I know that you guys don't know who I am. I do not have the personal brand awareness of a Simon Sinek or a Tony Robbins. So I would ask, could I please borrow a couple minutes of your time to build equity with you? I'm going to ask you to do something that you ordinarily wouldn't do. Trust a stranger. Let me tell you my background, and I can do it in just a couple minutes. In 2004, I wanted to learn how to grow a business like you, and like you. So I went to business school. For 2 years, I struggled. I struggled because I didn't know what I wanted to specialize in. Did I want to be a salesperson in HR and PR? I didn't know. So I turned to my grandfather. My grandfather operated a fish market in Lima, Peru. So he was B2B and B2C. He was selling fish to hotels and businesses and to everyday consumers like you and I. And I really admired him. He grew his store from one store, small business, very grassroots business, to several and sold to a much larger company. So he was successful. And I asked him, Granddad, what should I do? How should I build this career I want to build like you? Should I be in sales? How about a marketer? You can get tons of jobs being a marketer if I have that diploma. He said, Michelle, go out and be the master of customer service. And immediately I responded, customer service? You want me to be a bag boy at a grocery store earning $10 an hour? You see, that's what I equated customer service to. Low-paying menial jobs. What he helped me understand was what customer experience is. Now let me define the two right now. Customer service are actions. Customer experience is the design of the interactions your customers have with you from beginning to end. That can scale multiple departments. With that motivation, I was all in. If you know anything about me, and you probably don't because we just met, but I hope to get to know you, but I go all in. And I'm very focused. So what I did was I went to go study what customer experience management actually is. And I understood that these companies all grew to be successful because of their customer experience. It was their sole focus, their number one priority. Now, take a moment to think of one word that you would use to describe any of these companies. Say it to yourself, one word. What was that one word that you used, sir? Fun. How about you? Fun. Okay. Don't give me another fun. Miss right there, how about you? Either of you? What word would you use to describe those brands? Any one of you, I don't care. What was that? What? Okay, how about somebody else? There. Say that? Okay, for me, it's billion dollar companies. Now again, Frank mentioned as well too. These might not be relevant to you. You might not be a $1 billion company, but look at the theme. Amazon, one store in Seattle, now 22,000. Or Starbucks, sorry. Amazon starts off in a garage in 1994. They were a much smaller business than you are today. They had a bell that would go off every single time they sold a book. Now their market cap's over $100 billion. Zappos, $1 million to $1 billion in 10 years. Southwest Airlines, 39 years of consecutive profitability in the airline industry. Airline industry. It's an awful industry to run a profitable business in. With all this motivation, I was all in. And I knew that one day, I was 23 at the time, one day I would be speaking on a stage like this and consulting for some big companies, but I wasn't naive. I knew that I had to learn how to grow a beard first and earn some credibility, cut my teeth, put some feathers in my hat. So I went to go work with a company that could teach me how to do this so that I wasn't that guy who just wrote a book and gave himself an expert title on LinkedIn. I'm more concerned with being a practitioner to help you and you and you and you actually apply this in your business and actually grow. So that company I chose was 1-800-GOT-JUNK based in Vancouver. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I think you know the company and their success. Cameron Harold will be here later this afternoon. He'll elaborate a little bit more. But it was here that I got my start. I started off in the call center, worked my way up, moved laterally to the operations management side of the business. It was there that we developed a customer experience team. It was an entity within the business, just like you have biz dev, sales, marketing, and PR. We stood next to those departments and worked together to create a seamless customer experience from beginning to end. It was there that we raised our Net Promoter Score to 85. We reduced customer complaints by 33%. In 3 months, 1 quarter, which increased our customer retention. Bain & Company, the consulting agency, which I think we can trust, reported 2 years ago that if you increase your customer retention by 5%, that could equate to a 75% increase in profits, regardless of industry, regardless of your size. We built something called customer centricity training material for our frontline employees because we recognized that our frontline employees, the people that will speak to more customers in one day than you might in an entire year, needed to be the smartest people in the room. I want you to visualize your training program today. Picture it like it's in your hands and you're flipping page by page. Does it include these 3 things? Do you teach them how to understand and identify the 3 customer personality types? You cannot deliver service to Donald Trump the same way you do Ellen DeGeneres. Can't. 2 different personality types. Does your training material teach them the difference between customer service and customer experience? Does it teach them what organic growth means? Your people have to be the smartest individuals in the room. Was it JP, the gentleman in the morning that said that one of his goals was to increase the level of people and the quality of people in his company? Was he over here somewhere? Right there? Was that sort of one of the goals there? Training. Doesn't cost you very much, man. A few years ago, I left to go accomplish that goal that I'd set out when I was 22, riding a skateboard. I'm very thankful that I've been called by these companies to help them do what I'm going to teach you today. I had a eureka moment a few months ago. Where do you go to learn how to design, develop, and deploy customer experience strategies? Temple University isn't teaching it. Heck, not that many universities in the world are teaching people about customer experience management. So my team and I created this online course. We put all our material together. Here, take it. Go apply it. We've done the designing, we've done the development, just go execute. That's what you guys should be doing as CEOs, and you know that, is executing, leading that vision, and get everybody else to follow you. And like Will said, like a tribe. I was born in 1985, so what does that make me? Makes me a millennial. I don't talk about millennials too much. However, in preparation for this event, I wanted to survey 100 millennials to understand them as customers. I didn't just want to rely on my own thoughts. So if you are interested in learning how to acquire and retain millennial customers, maybe you have millennial customers today, maybe you don't, but you're going to eventually, so why not prepare now? Did you know the spending power by 2020 of millennials is going to be $1.4 trillion? $1.4 trillion. That's the GDP of Australia. If that doesn't impress you, that's 20 Warren Buffetts. So how do you acquire and retain millennials? Well, you need to provide immediacy. We're impatient. If we want your service or product, we want it now, right away. Uber was really popular in 2010, still is, because it provides that sense of immediacy. So maybe your company isn't powered by an app. How can you take that knowledge and apply it in your business? Well, you have 3 channels: phone, email, and social. If I call you and I have to leave a voicemail, respond within 1 business day maximum. If I email you, the same thing. Where's the CTO of Aweber? I was just talking to you. There you are. I use Aweber for my email marketing. I call them. I get them every time like clockwork. You guys don't charge me enough, by the way. If I tweet at you, how fast are you responding? 1 business day, absolute maximum, non-negotiable. If you're currently operating at 1 business day, fantastic. What are you going to do by 2020? Can you make it 1 hour? I recently got engaged. And I was I wanted to host an engagement party in Vancouver for my friends and family members. I called 3 restaurants. I had to leave voicemails with all 3. One of them called me back within 30 minutes, one a few hours, one 3 days. The one that took 3 days was the one that I really wanted to go and host this party at. A few $1,000s later, I spent it with their competitor. Now, is $3,000 going to sink your business? No. But how many times is that happening? That's the scary thing. 53% of millennials expect a response on social within 30 minutes. Damn, we're demanding, very demanding, but we'll spend with you. And that should make you happy. We want education. If I give you my email address, educate me, don't sell me, because I'm going to delete that email so hard, I'll even go to my spam and delete it again. We want education. That is how you're going to build rapport with us. Who believes they operate a business that's not very sexy, like a hotel or Uber? Okay, raise your hand if you don't think you operate within a sexy, okay, a few people, thank you for being honest. Let me use an example of an office supplies company, okay? My team, we need office supplies for our office. And I'm thinking, when I get their promotional emails that are trying to cross and upsell me, I'm like, what if they just took a different approach? Educate me. 1 month, use your newsletter and your content marketing strategy to educate me on how to lower the amount of ink I use. Okay? That makes me a smarter customer. And the next month, you teach me how to lower my carbon footprint. Again, makes me a better citizen. That is what's going to build relationships with me. Your company, your employees have not earned the right to cross or upsell a customer until you've built trust first. The best way to do that is to educate. Millennials have short attention spans. Very short. Maybe because we're addicts and we spend more time scrolling than actually flipping a page of a book. I can't remember the last time that I was lying on my couch and I didn't grab my phone every few minutes. Short attention span. So what does that mean for your business? How are you communicating your value proposition? It needs to be communicated in 2 sentences, not 2 paragraphs. If it's 2 paragraphs, you're gonna lose my attention after 3 sentences, and I'm gonna flip the page, turn the channel, or turn the dial. Who writes the copy for your business? Is that person a millennial? If not, that's okay. You have millennials working within your business. Take that copywriter and tell them to show your millennials within your business and ask, as simple as this, does this resonate with you? I believe if you want to learn how to design and execute an experience your customers have never seen before, you have to understand where customer experience has been and where is it going. I call this the 4 eras of customer experience. The first era is when we built businesses without the internet. Who's owned their business before the internet launched? Good amount of the room. Remember how you grew your business back then? By genuinely giving a crap about your customers. That was the only way you grew your business. That was the only way my grandfather grew his business. By genuinely caring. The second era, the launch of the internet, is what made us disingenuous. We took our resources and we went all in with customer acquisition because we saw this thing as an opportunity to acquire 5, 50, 500 customers just like that. And then when we started seeing it being successful, we doubled down on that investment. Where did that money come from? Customer retention. The term, your call center is a cost center, is when that term was coined in that era. When our customer, Sally Johnson, complained, did we care? Probably not. We couldn't care. We didn't have the resources to retain her. So we just told her to leave. But who cares? We could replace her just like that. The third era is the era that really showed us who is genuine and who is faking it. Social media gave Sally Johnson, that same customer you neglected in the second era, a louder voice. We know this to be true. The airline industry took a major hit when this era developed. The fourth era is the technology era, which is what we're living in today. It's only going to accelerate by 2020. If your business isn't powered by technology today, it's going to need to. Because your next battle is to make your experience effortless. Why do you think Blockbuster's out of business? Who on earth wants to go to Blockbuster when you could lie naked on your couch and press one button and do the exact same thing? You're laughing. You know what I'm talking about, sir. Right down there, yeah. This is how I'm going to pick up my dry cleaning in 2020. I'm going to be on my couch and realize I need to pick up my jacket. I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to click 2 buttons. A driverless car is going to go to my dry cleaners. The employee at the dry cleaners is going to take my laundry, put it in my car. That self-driving car is going to use GPS to come back to my home. My doorbell is going to ring as soon as that car is in my driveway because my home is powered by Nest or some other comparable company. I'm going to get up off the couch after binge watching Netflix or watching the Canucks play or some sort of sport, and I'm going to grab my clothes, shut the door, payment will be done on my phone, and what used to take 45 minutes now takes 45 seconds. If you don't believe that that's going to happen, you're very naive, and I don't mean to sound like a jerk by saying that. You need to be able to see what's going to happen in your industry in 2020. If you think like, no, there's no way this is going to happen, guess what? It's going to happen. The craziest ideas have been developed, and naysayers are like, there's no way that's going to happen. And it will happen. Be the first to market with these ideas within your industry. I want you to think of 3 words. You have 3 seconds to think of 3 words that you believe your customers are using to describe your customer experience today. Take 3 seconds to do so, please. It's a little longer than 3 seconds. Please raise your hand if you used words that were complimentary. Okay, good amount of the room. Thank you for those, for being honest, who didn't raise their hands. As Frank said, I had similar statistics. I'm very curious. If we build a relationship after this event, you're going to be like, holy crap, stop asking questions, man. I just want to enjoy my coffee. My team and I did a study 2 years ago to understand where the disconnect was between executives and their customers. 87% of customers or executives said, yes, Michelle Falcon and team, we deliver an amazing customer experience. We surveyed 1,000 executives all across North America. Then we surveyed their customers. Only 12% agreed. Where's the disconnect? Cameron might mention something later this afternoon. Are you inspecting what you expect? Are you habitually looking at your surveys? Are you even surveying your customers? That is a huge gap. I was in Whistler, which is about an hour and a half away from Vancouver, and I didn't mean to go to Whistler, but I had, whenever I want to do some thinking, I go there with my friend Johnny Walker, and we drive up, and then we sit down, and we drink together, alone. And I had a eureka moment. I went up there because I was very frustrated. Why is it we have all the data in the world to tell us that we must focus on our customer experience before creating that next great sales strategy, before that PR plan or marketing plan? Why is it that we still aren't doing it? And I had that eureka moment. It's not tangible. Customer experience is not tangible. It doesn't play to our senses. We can't see it, we can't hear it, we can't touch it, but we can see Channel 37. We can hear your radio campaign, and we can touch page 57 of a magazine that we probably paid more for because it was high gloss. That provides immediacy. I can't promise when the ROI of your customer experience plan is going to pay off, but it will. We have all the data to tell us that it will. What is the ROI of customer experience? Let's outline a few things really quickly. Organic growth. Organic growth is defined by the revenue that you earn through repeat customers and referrals. Why your business needs that, why your bottom line will have a big smiley face if you grow organically is because the cost of customer acquisition is very low. Maybe you're not into that. I don't know why you wouldn't be. You're all entrepreneurs here, and you're in for a profit. How about being an admired brand? When somebody sees your logo, do you want them to think, that is a company that respects their customers. That is a company that I admire because they take care of me and my wallet. Or do you want them to think, wow, that's a great shade of blue. I've met companies that spent more time designing their logos and business cards and email signatures than designing, developing, and deploying their customer experience. Is that not backwards? Okay, maybe you don't want to be an admired brand. What about forgiveness? Your customers will forgive you when you inevitably slip up and fail them. What a luxury that's going to be if you're given that gift of forgiveness. Zappos.com could come back and bring back the plague, and we would still forgive them. Oh, free shipping? Give me 2. Do you have the gift of forgiveness in your business? Or are you spending time apologizing, time after time? How do you actually design what I work with these companies to do? You need to create micro customer experiences. A micro customer experience is a small, subtle, affordable gesture that you do for your customers that resonates with them for years. That action is going to resonate with them longer than that TV campaign, than that radio campaign, or anything you do in high gloss. Warby Parker is a retailer of eyewear. In Atlanta a couple weeks ago, one of their customers came in to pick up her glasses that she had ordered. And in everyday conversation, she said, "Somebody stole my car. I really need a beer." These conversations are happening right now as I'm speaking with your employees. You probably teach those employees to listen, right? But are you telling them to listen, acknowledge, and action? What the employee did at Warby Parker was that she was attentive, made note of that, found the customer's address, sent her a handwritten card with a $20 gift certificate to a local microbrewery. That's not what makes the story impressive. It's a nice gesture. It made me smile when I read it. But Business Insider picked up this story, a publication, an online publication that gets tens of millions of views a month, and now millions of people now know Warby Parker. You now know Warby Parker too, because I'm telling you this story. And maybe, just maybe, you're gonna buy a pair of glasses from them because of this story. That's the financial ROI. I already talked to you about the free marketing and the free PR. That customer also went on Reddit and told their story on that platform, thousands of upvotes, hundreds of positive comments. That is emotional marketing. Far from your traditional marketing that we might be doing today. And it costs you $25. You would have to pay a PR agency thousands of dollars a month to get you in Business Insider, to tell your story. If you want people to tell your story, do stuff worth talking about. I don't care about your new product. I don't. Again, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but tell me something that's going to make me gravitate to your brand. Make me feel something. And you can leverage your customer experience to do stuff your customers have never seen before. The companies that are B2B or B2C operating in non-sexy markets, this is a fantastic way to rewrite your brand, rewrite the industry. Do you train your employees to listen, acknowledge, and action? What does it take to do this? It takes employees with the DNA to be customer-centric. And you're gonna have to reserve an operating budget for them to do this stuff. I'm not asking for thousands of dollars, a nominal amount. Ritz-Carlton gives each employee $2,000. I'm not telling you to do that. $25 and you can get in Business Insider. You can get your story told on Reddit. Save money. Anticipate your customers' needs. Frank had mentioned Apple as an example. Why do you think Apple, the iPod, became so famous? There's a number of reasons, one of which you might not have realized is very subtle. It's the scroll wheel. I'd never seen that before. An MP3 player, who remembers owning an MP3 player? What did you have to do to get to song 50? Hold down like some sort of psychopath until your thumb hurt, right? That was a bad experience. Hi, by the way, man. You look very nice. You're welcome. The scroll wheel is something I'd never seen before. A better user experience. I got to song 50 like that. And that put us in the position of becoming more loyal to Apple. What is your scroll wheel? What are you going to do to your systems and processes that's very subtle, that your customers have never seen before? I didn't know I needed a scroll wheel. If Steve Jobs had said, what do you want for your music listening pleasures? I would have said an MP3 player that came in 12 colors and hold 50,000 songs. That's not innovative. That's a refinement on what was out there already. This is innovation. I hear so many companies being like, we're an innovative company, Michelle. I spoke to a company, I'm like, okay, so what do you do? They're like, we bring flowers to our customers' homes. I'm like, that's not innovation. That's a refinement of what you're currently doing. Respect the word innovation. If you want to be able to do and deliver an experience your customers have never seen before, you need to have the corporate courage to think long term. Sometimes we've trained ourselves to think short term to secure our own livelihoods because we want to get paid now. I can't promise you when the ROI of delivering an experience your customer has never seen before will come, but it will. Let's say it's 12 to 24 months. Let's just say. You're still going to be in business then, aren't you? You haven't come here today worrying about tomorrow. We're leading with 2020 vision. You're still going to be in business by 2020. Make the investments, the refinements now. Now, this is where it begins and ends. You're all CEOs and leaders of your organization. I'm not asking you to design, develop, and deploy what I talk about. I'm asking you to be the flag bearer. I'm asking you to lead your tribe, lead your people, get in the media, talking about your customer experience. Every single meeting you have with your team, talk about the customer experience, always. Richard Branson is Richard Branson for a reason. He's an advocate of his customer experience. He put on a dress. Did you guys ever see that picture where he actually served drinks on a flight in a dress? Now, I'm not asking the males to do that, but he's a leader. Tony Hsieh's a leader. Kat Cole, the CEO of Cinnabon, she's a leader and very respected by her people, by her franchisees, her business partners, her vendors. That's one thing. A couple months ago, I was invited to Gold Corp to speak to their executives and some other executives from neighboring businesses. Gold Corp is the largest producer of gold in the world. Why would a B2B gold mining company want me there? I entered and there was resistance. I could tell some of their executives were probably like, you're as old as my son, and I'm B2B, we don't have customers. We dig holes in the ground and get gold out of the ground. Why should I give a crap about customer experience? I said, okay, I hear you. I hear this a lot. But what about delivering service to your vendors like they were your customers? Don't you want to be an admired brand to everyone? Or do you just want to be an admired brand to the people that give you money? That's not genuine. If you're only focused on the people who pay you, you are not truly a customer-centric company. And don't you think that if your vendors love you more than the other people that do business with them, don't you think they're going to give you preferred rates? Maybe in time? They will. I know this to be true. And that makes your business more profitable. Are you prepared to be the leader of your experience? Again, I'm not asking you to do the work. I'm just asking you to lead. And as we know, when we lead in business or in sports, people follow us. And your jobs become a little bit easier. I'm not a theory guy. I'm not going to come here and just give you a bunch of theory. That's part of the reason why I haven't written a book, is because I prefer to be a practitioner. I like to roll up my sleeves, get dirt under my nails, and do the stuff I talk about. These are some action items for you. You can apply them this quarter, next quarter. If your strategic plan is done already for this year, maybe you do it Q1 of 2016. Action items are disguised as homework. These are 4 things that you can do on a shoestring budget. Create a customer advisory board. What a customer advisory board is an internal team within your business. You select one person from every department, finance, tech, PR, marketing, call center, every department. One representative. You meet once a month, and the only thing you talk about is the customer experience. Call it state of the customer, an address where you're always talking about the customer experience. You lead that meeting, by the way. Who currently has a customer advisory board within their business? Got 1, 2, 3. Okay, about a dozen. Second thing, your first meeting with your customer advisory board, you're going to do customer journey mapping. Who currently does customer journey mapping today or has hosted a session? 1, 2, about a handful of people. Let's be honest. Let's be a little vulnerable. Who has no idea what a customer journey map is? Okay, a good percentage of the room. Feel free to give me your business cards at the end of this. I'll send you a 1-page document of what it is. But high level right now, it's that team that you have. You outline every single customer touch point together. And you put the name of the department who is responsible for managing that touch point. I worked with a company that operates movie theaters. They asked me to host a couple sessions with their executive team one of which was a customer journey mapping session. And I asked these executives, walk me through your current state of your customer experience. What are your customer touch points? They got many of them right. They said our customers are going to go online and buy tickets. They're going to show up, have their ticket validated. They're going to go to our concession stand, watch the movie, and leave. Those are all true, but they neglected something. Be more specific. What is that online experience like? Is your mobile experience exactly like your desktop experience? They neglected another touch point. Where do you park your car when you get to the movie theaters? The parking lot. That is an experience. If I show up there, or if you do, to a movie theater, and the parking lot is dirty with their logo on wrappers thrown on the ground, don't you think that's a bad experience? Yes, then you go to the movie theater. You go to the concession stand. I said, well, what about the bathrooms? I go to the bathroom before going to a movie. That's an experience. You go to the movie, you watch the movie, you leave. I said, why aren't you surveying your customers? You have my email address, use it. You see, the end-to-end customer experience, we might know a few touch points, but have we outlined all of them? And are we completely aligned with our people? Because how are you supposed to create a seamless and effortless customer experience if your entire team doesn't even know all of the touch points? How many people are surveying their customers habitually? Too few. Everybody's hand should be up. I don't care if you're B2B or B2C, a $500,000 company or a $500 million company. I told you I recently got engaged. My intentions are to be the best husband that I can and one day father. To be the best husband, what am I going to do? Watch Netflix and think about, why does Kate love me? I think she loves me because of this, this, and this, and I don't think she likes me because of this, this, and this. That's anecdotal. Why don't I just go to the source? Catherine, why do you love me? 1, 2, 3. I would share them with you, but one of them might be R-rated. Catherine, why don't you like me? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm not going to try to do all 3 things at one time to reduce the bad. I'm going to take one thing, and I'm going to work on it. Because I'm a human being, just like you are, operating businesses, and I'm going to get better at that. Let's say it's not leaving my underwear on the bathroom floor. I'm sure many men here could agree with, or could understand, like, yeah, that's something I do. And the women here are probably like, that's something my husband does that I hate. I'm going to get better at that. And then once I start seeing that behavior decrease for the good, I'm going to move on to the second thing and the third thing, and then hopefully I'll get some sort of hat that says world's #1 husband or whatever. Why aren't you doing the same thing with your customers? If it's, Michelle, our customers don't fill out our surveys, well, you're doing them wrong. You're not making it easy for them. Or you're not showing them that you're taking the info that they tell you and actioning it to create an experience they've never seen before. I was working with a quick service restaurant late last year, and they said, Michelle, we're becoming increasingly frustrated with our survey program. I said, okay, I need to do some discovery. What are you doing? They said, Michelle, somebody left the room and came back, put this wooden box on the table with some pieces of paper. Said, this is what we're doing. I was like, hold on a second. You have wooden boxes in your business and pieces of paper, and you expect your customers to fill this out? Do you know where the boxes were mounted? By the bathrooms. Not only is that a bad strategy, that's disgusting. I'm sorry, when I'm going to the bathroom as a customer, I have #1 focus, to go pee or poop, not to give you feedback. Not only that, what a rudimentary way for listening to your customers. That doesn't work. The only person that I know that would fill that out is Fred Flintstone, because he doesn't know any better. They're doing it wrong. Are you doing it wrong as well? In light of being able to make your frontline employees smarter, more educated, more invested in, I want you to consider creating a one-page document I call Customers at a Glance. You take the information from your customer advisory board meeting every month, and in layman's terms, you outline the top 3 reasons why your customers said they loved you. Maybe even use verbatim comments. Then the top 3 reasons why your customers said they didn't love you, and put comments there as well too. You take that single document and you email it to every single person on your payroll. Don't hoard customer intelligence with the C-suite. What is the point of doing that? You don't create the relationships with your customers. Your frontline employees do. Your responsibility is to lead them. Give them the tools, the education, and the motivation to knock it out of the park, and they will. That is how Amazon and Zappos and Southwest Airlines have done it. So why are we trying to do anything else? I understand that you are inundated with decisions to make. What are we going to do for biz dev? What are we going to do for sales? How are we going to grow our brand awareness? What is our brand positioning? How are we going to increase customer retention? But there's one thing that I know, and I know very well, is what is more important than serving and servicing your customers? There isn't anything else other than that. Think about the most loyal relationships we have with our friends and family members. If we ask them to do us a favor, they'll do it. My friend drove me to the airport in Vancouver to get here. I converted him. I asked him to do something, and he did it. Not because I'm self-serving, but because he wants to do something for me to make me more successful, in this case, save me money so I don't have to take a taxi. What most businesses are doing right now are approaching their current customers and prospective customers and saying, buy from me, tell your friends, tell your family members. I told you earlier that how many people in the room have a full-blown sales team? Okay. Pretty much everybody. As I said earlier, your sales team, and I would love for you to deliver this message to them, they have not earned the right to cross or upsell their customers until they've built trust first. How do you build that trust? You build that trust by delivering an experience your customers have never seen before that is consistent and predictable. I like to eat pizza, Domino's specifically. And the way that I order Domino's was through an experience that I'd never seen before, their mobile app. I don't have to call anybody. I press a couple buttons, and the pie's on its way. That is a predictable experience. I know what I'm getting before I've bought it, because they delivered an experience I'd never seen before that I became loyal to. That is how you grow your business. I don't know Domino's numbers to say that they're financially healthy, but an outsider's perspective, you hear them in the media doing some cool stuff. They've reinvented their brand in the past couple years. Will was talking about branding before. You might have heard this quote before. Branding isn't what you say it is, it's what your customers say it is. So that's why we have to listen more. That is why we have to go straight to the source, like I do with my fiance, to understand what I do well and what I do poorly. You take that data, you don't let it live within a virtual storage unit. I've met too many companies. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you actually not to gather customer feedback if you're going to press a button, ask for feedback, and say, cross it off our to-do list, we did it, team. What's the point of doing that? That's just letting comments fall on deaf ears. You want to take that data, put it under a microscope, and say, team, your customer advisory board team, what are we going to do to increase the good and reduce the bad? That is how you grow a business that will last for the next 100 years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Michelle, thank you very much. I know that this audience is going to have questions to ask you. I've got a couple lined up as well. So same rules as before. If you have a question, come to one of the stand-up microphones or raise your hand and we will run a microphone over to you. And while you're thinking, let's see, what have I got here? All right, so if a company in this room is motivated to really overhaul their customer experience offering, where should they start? Is there a start point?
So I gave you those 4 action items. That's where you start. Now, who believes they have the best team in the world that you do not need to find new people at all? Yeah, nobody, right? So we all understand that our employee experience must be world-class as well, too. We must welcome people into our business like we select participants and invitees to a house party. I find it insane that we just welcome all these misfits into our business that shouldn't be there. And then you're giving them the keys to your business and say, deliver an experience they've never seen before. It's not gonna work. Go back to your business and understand, to answer Mark's question, understand what your culture is like, something Cameron's gonna talk this afternoon. Think about your interview process. Is it hard? Would you pass it? It must be very hard. Ask some weird questions. You know what's something I was coaching a couple companies on to ask these questions during the interview process? What's the temperature of the sun? Sounds pretty weird, right? Why would this guy be asking me? The answer is irrelevant. Nobody knows the answer to that question. If you do, please don't put your hand down, you're gonna ruin this bit. But what you want that employee to do is say, I don't know, but I'm gonna find out for you. They leave. You get an email from them saying, thanks for the interview. By the way, the answer to your question is X. I hope I get hired. Hire that person. Because don't you think that's how they're going to treat your customers too, when they inevitably don't know the answer to their question?
Very good, I like it. Now we're all thinking of weird questions. I've already got a few. All right, questions from the floor. I'm looking for hands. The lights are bright, so I'm going to shield. We've got a question right at the front here. While we get a mic over to you, why don't you say it? I'll repeat it to the room. Go ahead, sir. So customers want lower cost. That's their full focus. That's all they're thinking about.
Yeah. So I'd be naive if I would say that you're going to win over all customers, right? It's not going to happen. There's going to be a segment of customers that just say, I just want the lowest price, right? And that's what your people are saying right now. You can't.
So the gentleman's saying that he provides very precise, high-quality work, but people want that price advantage, don't they? And that's all they're talking to him about.
So I would question whether you're communicating your value proposition strong enough, right? When's the last time as a consumer we've gotten the best quality work at a cheap price? I don't know about you, but every single time that I have gotten or went for the cheaper price, I bought a headache. So perhaps there's a better opportunity to communicate your value proposition to your customers to kind of change their way of thinking of your service or product and actually demand to pay more, right? We have to charge you X because of 1, 2, 3 reasons. And be prepared to walk away from customers that aren't willing to pay what you're worth.
Out of interest, may I?
Yeah.
How many people in the room face customers who are always looking for a better deal, always asking for a little bit off? So it's a big thing. And is your argument that if you sell the proposition differently, those demands might go away to an extent?
Yeah, perhaps they don't know what they're buying. I'll use a perfect example of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. The #1 reason that company has detractors is because their customers say, price too expensive. Well, what did we do to reduce that? We could say, well, you know what? Our customers just don't get us. What we did do is we increased the education for our frontline employees to teach the customer about the experience. The customers thought that it was too expensive because you were only there for 15 minutes moving 2 couches. How could it cost $250? Well, Mr. Customer, actually what you see is only a portion of the experience. We actually have to drive for 30 minutes to dispose of these in a responsible way. And then we have to go back to another facility to get rid of this as well too. And then as soon as the customer started understanding that there was more than just lifting and loading and you're out, that's when we started seeing price too expensive decrease on our NPS score. So perhaps you need to be communicating your end-to-end experience better to your customers so they understand what they're fully buying.
Very nice, thank you. Next question. I'm looking across an ocean of faces. Yes, sir, at the front. We're going to run a mic to you. Hang on for 1 second, it's really close, I can see it.
Just right over your right
shoulder.
shoulder.
It's the morning workout.
We're hiring a customer service manager, and it's very hard to find that prodigy, I guess you'd say. So where do they hang out? Where do I look? What's the place to go for these kinds of individuals?
Okay. Have you ever had this position before? Yes. Okay, so you know what worked and what didn't work with that individual before? Okay. There's nobody you can promote from within? Okay. Do you have some amazing customer service people within your organization that aren't ready for that position or don't want that position? Are there some people that you know are good at customer service, but you wouldn't select them? Talk to them. Ask them if they know friends and family members who are cut from the same cloth. The greatest way to hire people with the customer-centric DNA is to leverage your current people right now. Like minds think and act alike, and they hang out together. First, do that. That is the most affordable way to do. Secondly, it's tough, man. It's tough because you know what? If you want to find a marketer, go down to Temple University or any of the neighboring universities here and go to their business program and say, give us your best marketers. You'll get what, 100 resumes? Then say, hey, give us our best customer experience professionals. And we're like, what the hell are you talking about? It's what I face every day. The best way to do is look internally. The second best way to do is to poach people. Walk around with your business cards. Anybody that's giving you great service, what you should be thinking about is like, can I leverage this person? Now, you don't want to go to Starbucks and be like, hey, I'm looking to hire you, and then their manager kick you out without your coffee. Do it discreetly. Have custom cards made that maybe says on one side, you delivered an amazing service to me. Let's talk. And then your contact info on the other side. Just slip it there. See what happens. Those are the 2 best ways, and it's worked for me as a practitioner and as an employee manager and so forth.
What about using social media as we see it right now, and of course it changes by the week, does it not, to either recruit people along the lines of what we've just been discussing, or indeed to recruit great customers and to understand that you provide a wonderful experience?
Thank you. Yes. There's a lot of conversations happening on social media. There's 2 hashtags I would recommend following. It's hashtag CustServe, like customer service, CustServe, and hashtag CX for customer experience. Just go there and listen. Maybe, just maybe, there is somebody tweeting using that hashtag that is looking for their next great opportunity that happened to be in Pennsylvania. Talk to them there. That's a fantastic way to recruit.
I think that's a great idea. I use TweetDeck, which is an app that some people will use and some haven't. It's a wonderful way to search Twitter because you can find those conversations and you can research those people. It's an undug mine, is it not?
I think so.
All right, one more. Let's go for one more question from the audience. Yes, Madam Red-ish top, striped sleeves, on its way. Thank you.
Hi, Michelle. My name's Lindsay.
Hi.
Can you share some interesting ways to reach your customers when you're trying to survey them? We have customers that are out in the field. It's kind of old school, so a lot of them don't use technology.
Okay. What channels could you give her the mic again? Because I'm just going to ask her another question. What channels are you using right now? Is it paper? Paper-based?
Mostly paper, but it's an electrical construction that we normally interfere with. So
there's some tech behind it?
Yeah, a little bit, but.
Okay. Well, phone is expensive, okay? So I wouldn't go for phone right away, at least. Surely these people have an email address.
A lot of them do, but it's more So the foreman on the job would have an email address, and we have interface with him, but it's all the guys beneath him. How do we get to them? Because they have shared experience as well.
Okay. Sticking with the theme of 2020, I want you to I would recommend that you start building programs leading into 2020 rather than focusing on what has not worked before and what might or might not work today. So let's assume that email is your primary channel. The standard of industry standard for all companies, all industries, response rates for email is 25 to 30%. That's pretty low in terms of response rates, but it's low because we're doing it not right. What I would caution you is if you want your response rates for your survey response rates to increase, take a look at your subject line. As simple as that. A company I was working with, subject line was customer satisfaction check. You know what that's going to get? Delete. Make it interesting, make it engaging. That's why email marketers, there's conversion copywriters for stuff specifically for that. The gentleman from AWeber would definitely know this, right? Is that email engaging? Is it going to entice them to open it and respond? How many questions is your survey? If it's 15, it's far too long. That's why Net Promoter Score is very popular. You don't just have to ask the 1 or 2 questions, maybe even up to 5, but make it short, make it nimble. Now, this is what's going to separate everybody, separate the A players to the average companies. How are you communicating back to your customers that you're actually driving change by them doing that favor by filling out that survey?
And is that reward enough? Because British Airways constantly asks me to fill out a survey, and I feel like there's nothing in it for me.
Okay, so every month, you leverage your newsletter. If you don't have one, develop one. Educate your customers, like I said earlier. And within that newsletter, there's a little paragraph that says, maybe you call it, "We heard you." And you say, last month, customers, you told us XYZ. This month, we did 1, 2, 3. We listened and we're actioning. Those are the things that are going to increase your response rates. But like I said, don't ask for surveys if you're just going to let it live in a virtual storage unit and sit on your hands. There's no point. Save yourself the money.
Can I challenge you? You mentioned clever subject lines. We're all searching for these. Any examples that you've seen? I'm really putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, a couple might be, did we wow you? Tell us in 3 minutes. It's effective. What I've based on my research with my team in terms of response rates for emails is letting them know what the duration of time is going to be, whether it's in the email subject line or in the body. How long is this going to take me? I filled out a survey for a telecommunications company, the one that I spend ridiculous amount of money with, which I'm obviously sound resentful. I was 7 minutes in. I was like, dear God, when is this going to end? And I didn't complete it. And that's called survey fatigue. Taking too much of my time. Remember, maybe it's because I'm a millennial. I want it fast. Give it to me quick. I'll help you, but really quickly. Please be respectful of our time.
I'd like to ask you, on the subject of modern channels of communication, about a webinar that I know you've got coming up relatively soon. I believe it's on May 1st for Vistage. Can you give us some more details?
Yeah. So on May 1st, I'm hosting a webinar with Vistage. It's private to Vistage. And what I'm going to talk about then is 6 areas in your business that you're going to need to put under a microscope. If you learn something today, whether it's 1 thing or 5 things or more or less, whatever, if you learned anything today, I highly recommend attending the webinar because I'm going to dive really deep. That's when I'm going to go full practitioner mode, not high level. I'm going to be in the trenches with you. And by the end of it, I think my marketing coordinator is going to be really pissed by me saying this because I'm using his budget. If you attend the webinar and you don't learn 3 things, I'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card for wasting your time. Sorry, Spencer, if you watch this video, that's your budget.
That's quite a promise. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Falcon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Well done.